The story after the game is the one that had everybody talking. And you heard Bob just say the plan was to hopefully get it to Josh Hader in the ninth, turn over a 1-0 lead to Josh Hader. Go back, though, to the seventh. Padres are up 1-0. 2 outs. Austin Slater gets on an infield single against Tom Cosgrove. So Melvin goes early to Robert Suarez in the seventh to get that final out of the inning. Make sure that they preserve a 1-0 lead with a better matchup against Thairo Estrada. Suarez comes back out to pitch the eighth and gets the first out, but then a walk, a double, runners at second and third, intentionally walk Jock Peterson, but he gets Bailey to get ground into the fielder's choice to home. So you got 2 outs, bases loaded, but Suarez has already been out there for a lot of pitches, and they've got the lefty Michael Conforto coming off the bench to pitch hit. You've got, the best lefty reliever in baseball sitting in your bullpen. Ideally, waiting for the ninth inning, but wouldn't that be a time to, bring him out in case of emergency? Let's get this out. The game is on the line. We know they've got the bases loaded now. We don't know what the ninth inning looks like, but this is the chance maybe to lock down the win in the eighth inning. So why didn't Bob Melvin go to Josh Hader with 2 outs and the bases loaded in the eighth inning? Here's what Bob had to say on camera after the game last night.
You asked Suarez for 4 outs.
Yeah.
Hader could have been that guy against the lefty there. Is that just him going 3 outs?
That's what we're doing right now. Yeah.
And why is that?
It's because the way we've handled it here.
Is there any discussion with him? Is there any thought?
We talked to him some, yeah.
Oh, God.
That would seem to kind of run counter to the... I mean, you were saving him earlier in the season for later in the year, and here we are now, and it's obviously getting very late.
It's just the way it happened tonight.
Oh, God. Okay, so that's you hear that, and if you're a body language expert and you're a vocal,
or if you're just a normal person who not a body language expert but has heard anyone talk
ever, if you've ever heard anyone speak, you're qualified to judge that audio there from Bob Melvin. Was not pleased. Could really, it was swallowing a lot there. Was choking it down a little bit. So, I really only saw one person say, "Oh man, he threw Hader under the bus there." Well, he didn't. He could have said, "Yeah, I wanted Josh to get 4 outs." He's refused. That's throwing somebody under the bus.
Right.
And
I guess he could have said, "No, we really thought the righty, tired righty against Conforto was the better matchup.
Right.
And that's on me. That's totally a managerial decision right there." I just don't know that anyone would have believed it had he said it, but that I guess you could have gone a little more in defense of your player.
Yeah, yes, you could have, but then Josh Hader pretty much sealed the deal. After the game, Josh Hader asked his thinking behind not making himself available for 4 outs. His quote was, "It's the situation that we were at." And then asked to clarify that, he said, "Are we in the playoff race?" Well, technically, yes, but it would take a miracle, to which he said, "You guys want me to do everything." Woke up this morning, 2:30.
What?
Woke up at 2:30. Was groggy, but I was like, I got an hour and a half left to sleep. And I looked at my phone like a moron. And that's the first thing I saw. And I was like, well, I'm not going back to bed. And I didn't, and I haven't. And I've stewed on it and thought about it all morning. I've tried to put myself in Josh Hader's shoes. I defended Josh Hader because I know what happened to him in Milwaukee. We all do. Everyone knows that he was a multi-inning, whatever you need, boss. Give me the ball. I will get you the outs, whether it's the 7th, 8th, 9th, whether it's the 8th or 9th. When he went to arbitration, it is not an easy process for a player. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. That being said, he goes to ARB with Milwaukee, and they just ream him. They ream him. Well, you blew this one, and you did this and that. And he's like, you know what? Fine.
I'll shut up late that one day.
Yeah. I'll sign your deal. I'm 9th inning only. Okay, those are my rules. This is what I do. I'm 9th inning. Don't ask me for an out in the 7th or 8th. I'm not going multiples. You wanted it, you got it. Okay, fine. I'm the pettiest human alive. I 100% can get behind that. You guys have overused me, and now you're going to rake me over the coals. I'm one of the best pitchers in baseball. Fine, I get that. That was years ago. He's here now. Now, I understand he's up for free agent at the end of the year. they're not asking him to do anything, Ben, in my opinion at least, that's going to put him in harm's way. They're asking you for 4 outs. They're not asking you for 2 innings. They're not asking you to start a game or any, it's something that's way outside of your comfort zone. If they said, hey, we need you to open tomorrow's game, I'd even say, you know what? That's weird. That's weird to me. Yeah, he's probably your best and he can get through the top of their lineup really nicely, but it's weird to me. That's not something he's used to doing, right? So let's not get crazy. But asking your closer for 4 outs when you're still kind of hanging on, and haven't really been eliminated is a tough look. And for him to say, you guys want me to do everything. He's barely pitched. I think he's thrown 19 innings in the second half. Is that right? 19,
Sounds about right.
19.2 innings.
Handful of appearances in the last month.
19
Did have the 3
innings.
days in a row last week,
Sure.
and then was shut down for
Couldn't use him in another big game.
2 days after that. Even after an off day, they couldn't bring him in the day after that. Which, your arm responds how it responds, and if he's unavailable, he's unavailable. But he wasn't unavailable
Correct.
last night.
He was ready for the 9th.
He was getting ready for the 9th, but Bob felt or was told that they could not bring him in the 8th for that extra out, even though it very well could have been, probably would have been the difference in the game. It's very rare that it's as clear-cut as the difference between a win and a loss, and maybe Michael Conforto still would have gotten a hit against Josh Hader, but the odds of it were significantly less on a lefty-lefty matchup with a nasty guy like Hader coming in. So I think you can make a very strong argument that, you make that move and the Padres win that game instead of losing that game. And while Josh Hader is right, in the long scheme, it's probably not going to get the Padres to the playoffs, not going to matter. What bothered me the most is that his rationale, while I kind of get it a little bit, what if every player said that on your roster?
What if every single guy said, we're not in the race?
Manny, I don't need to play anymore. We're not in the race. Soto, we're not in the race. I mean, if every player in your roster, you wouldn't be able to play games.
If Josh Hader was hurt, I'd have no problem with him.
Then you put him on the IL and you bring someone else in, which is fine. But he's not hurt, and you have a responsibility as a baseball player. Sign your contract. You play throughout the season if you're healthy, and every once in a while that requires you, even as a closer, to come in the 8th inning, maybe to get a 4-out save. Or, you know what, if he got the last out in the 8th and he comes back in the 9th and runs into some trouble and, they get up to, 25 pitches and Bob has to take him out for Ray Kerr and they lose it that way, I'd feel more comfortable with that at least you gave it a shot there in the 8th inning with your best in the critical situation. But how does his teammates feel about that?
Man.
That they're out there trying to win the game.
I would absolutely hate that, and it gives a lot of credibility to a lot of the stuff we've read this year. And there's been more than 10 occasions this year when we could have used Josh Hader, Ben, in a big situation that we saved him for the 9th. And who got the bus rolled over them all season? Bob Melvin. Bob Melvin has worn more bullets for Josh Hader this season than any manager I've ever seen. I mean, it's incredible. And you hear those comments. That's clearly how he feels. But the whole thing was, I'm not going to do this in June. I'll be ready to go in, September, October. And again, you're not asking this man to do anything other than his job. Other guys are out there, and it's not like he's not getting paid. He's making $14 million this year. For $14 million, man, I'm going to try to get an extra out for my team. Also, why would you say that you're in a walk year? And if you're another team, are you
First
like,
thing I thought of.
bro?
Yep.
It's just
That's
regardless.
a huge red flag.
Our season's in the crapper. Nobody's denying that, right? You're hanging on by a sliver. That being said, why would you say that out loud? Our guys say some of the dumbest stuff, and it's not just him. I tweeted this morning. Every year, there's somebody that says something that says, we quit, and that's okay, because we're in San Diego, and we got a buttload of money. Will Myers got a buttload of money, came out and said, we kind of took our foot off the gas. Why? Why did you take your foot off the gas? Eric Hosmer, I don't need extra work. My glove's sick, bro. Why don't you need extra work? You're terrible at defense. Sean Manaea, I just got lazy. I just didn't want to work. You're in a pennant race. You almost went to the World Series.
3 wins.
3 wins away.
By the way, buddy, we could have used some starting pitching.
No doubt. We could have used you getting your work in and taking it seriously for the $12 million you made. Why is it okay in San Diego? Why do people get away with that here? Why? It doesn't make any sense. This is not the first time. He's the latest in a long line of just horrendous. Manny has said it. Yeah, we kind of quit at the end of the year. Why? Why did you quit?
I don't want to discount what Josh Hader did last season down the stretch when he got hot in September. He helped the Padres a number of times get to the National League Championship Series, and he did. He actually came in for a couple of 4 outs, if I remember correctly. But I do have a rule, and when I'm sitting in this chair and we're talking about whether it's a coach's decision or what a player does or what a general manager does, I always think it probably makes sense from some sort of perspective. As we're going like, no, this doesn't make sense. What are they doing? Well, last year everyone said, why are the Milwaukee Brewers trading Josh Hader?
Yeah.
They're in a pennant race still. Why would they trade Josh Hader? That doesn't make a lot of sense.
If you can't use him, why keep
now
him?
in hindsight, you see why the Brewers were probably willing to trade Josh Hader, as good as he was, because everyone knew.
Well,
I mean, he's a
he was
dominant lefty.
He was way dug in with them.
Yeah,
yeah,
and he was struggling at the time. But
hate it,
everyone
man.
knew how good he was. Why would he even be available to the Padres? And now it's taken a while, but I think we all know the answer to that question. Why was he even available at the trade deadline last year?
It's tough. He's done a lot of good in this. He's done a lot of good in this community.
My problem was not that he didn't come in to pitch a game last night because we're still technically alive.
My
We
problem
needed
is
to
what he
win.
said.
It's the mentality. It's saying it out loud. That's a problem.
I mean, I can't even. If you're Bob Melvin, do you you have to walk around with a notepad before each game, going, "Hey, so good for 9 pitches tonight. How do you feel? Feel like Matt Batten, you're in? Okay, what position would you like to play?"
I'm okay.
I mean, it's absurd.